Well, hello. First of all, welcome to Cap Village. Today we're here with Whips. For those who don't know you, introduce yourself.
I'm Randy Pillai. I'm the founder of West Indies Pepper Sauce.
And I'm Shauna Vopalaya, co-founder of West Indies Pepper Sauce. We call it Whips for short, so that's who we are.
Perfect. So Whips has been making pepper sauces for 4 generations. Can you tell us the story behind the family business and how it all began?
Yeah, absolutely. So everything goes back to my great grandmother's recipe. Her name is Ma. It's a 95-year-old family recipe. And, our mission at West Indies Pepper Sauce is about preserving food culture for the 42 million Caribbean diaspora. So when grandma and mom passes on, our food flavors don't die. I've been personally making this pepper sauce for the last over 20, 25 years. And my wife and I have lived in Vietnam and South Korea, traveled around the world. We've had other businesses. But, to be really honest, like nothing's really ever like hit from a passion perspective. We've been to 60 countries over 6 continents. We come from very humble beginnings. And one thing that we've recognized is, the world's a great place. It's full of culture, food, and, great recipes. And we wanted to do our part to preserve food culture. So when grandma and mom passes on, our food flavors don't die. And, Whips was born in, February of 2024. And yeah, that when we started that in February of 24, 1 month later, on the day of my 40th birthday, like no lie, I got laid off on my job. That was like 9 o'clock in the morning. It was a very vivid memory for me. And it was my 40th birthday, 1 month after starting this. And 3 months later, my wife got laid off. And we told our kids, when life gives you peppers, we make pepper sauce. And we've been on a TV show called The Hot Ones Caribbean Edition season 4. Martha Stewart's magazine, Martha, shout out to the Knicks. Love that. And, she called our company Caribbean Sunshine in a Jar. And Whips belongs in every kitchen. So
Perfect. So, as you know, Caribbean Heritage Month is a time to celebrate culture and tradition. How does Whips use food to preserve and share that Caribbean heritage?
yeah, absolutely. So, I'm Guyanese, my wife's Vietnamese. For us, as we started this brand, West Indies Pepper Sauce, our focus is about bringing people together as opposed to just getting us all in our own silos. So from a perspective of like celebrating food culture, our customers are across the board. They'll put our red pepper sauce in some eggs, mac and cheese, fried chicken, empanadas. They use it to make a whipped spicy margarita. Think of like a sofrito. This is how they kind of use it to cook with. Our yellow pepper sauce goes great with any type of curries, ribs, briskets, tacos, chicharron, sancocho. So from a perspective of like our like flavors are near and dear to all of our cultures and all the food that we make. And from a perspective of as we navigate our retail journey, we talk about whips, right? And West Indies Pepper Sauce is a brand. Our cultures are on shelves, but our people are not. And at West Indies Pepper Sauce, we represent the 42 million Caribbean diaspora using our clean label Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, and we're only just getting started.
So, as you mentioned, you were recently on the Hot Ones Caribbean edition. What was that experience like and how did it impact your brand?
Yeah, so Hot Ones Caribbean Edition was a huge win for us. We had just been around for just over a year, and we got some news in our inbox, and it was great news to be one of the brands on Hot Ones Caribbean Edition. So they're in their fourth season. I think the first one was in Jamaica, next one was in St. Vincent,
Mm-hmm.
was it? And then
Trinidad.
in Trinidad. And this season, it's actually aired in New York, New Jersey area. So it's an amazing experience. Our jars are on there, our yellow Scotch bonnet jars are on the show. And as you know how it works on Hot Ones, they have 10 different sauces, up to 10. 10 is the hottest. Ours is number 2. So we're definitely more about the flavor than the heat. But of course, everything in the Caribbean is a lot hotter. So definitely it's a great experience. They've had soca artists on there. One of the episodes had the CMO from Golden Crust, Stephen Clark, on. So we got his, initial feedback right on the show. So it's been really great for us to have that presence and being not just a US based, Florida based company, but, but spreading the word for the Caribbean and being part of the wider Caribbean diaspora.
Yeah, and also just want to add to that, I say it, and I say it all the time, and I mean it with our heart. Like, our cultures are on shelves, but our people are not. It's great as we go on our journey to meet other, Caribbean-led brands or so, and it's awesome to be on a platform like the Hot Ones Caribbean Edition. Uh, Actually, went to the Summer Fancy Food Show last year in New York, and I was brought on stage by the on a panel session where the Hot Ones, Chris and Noah, was on there, and they gave us a big shout out saying, "Hey, you guys have been around for just a short amount of time, and you guys are having so much traction, and you're on the Hot Ones Caribbean Edition as well." So, really cool opportunity to teach and just teach others about our culture.
So, winning the Spicy International Flavor Sauce of the Year in the Caribbean category for 2 consecutive years is a huge accomplishment. What does that recognition mean to you?
I mean, this is huge. Yeah, just being in business for 2 years and getting these two awards, also being first place in the category too of the Caribbean category is huge. So not only just winning the Spicy International Flavor Sauce Awards, but first place in the Caribbean category. It's a huge honor. I know there were tons of other sauces out there that were, it's very competitive. Sauce market is huge. There's a lot of great sauces out there, and everything's different. So, and especially ours is definitely true to the Caribbean flavors, the taste, Scotch bonnet base. So it's a huge accomplishment. We couldn't thank our customers even more. I mean, our customers have been there with us from day one. Our Orlando-based customers, Claremont Community, Celebration, and then our wider audience in the wider U.S. here. And we also get customers from the U.K. who visit us here in Florida and then take it back home. So we couldn't be here without our customers. So thank you.
So, Whips recently completed a successful trial run at Sprouts Farmers Market in Florida.
Mhm.
What did that opportunity teach you about bringing Caribbean flavors to mainstream audiences?
Wow, that was huge, huge, huge opportunity for Whips. For those of you who are not familiar with Sprouts Farmers Market, they're in the same system of like a Whole Foods, a Wegmans, Fresh Market, Central Market. So clean label brand grocery, and our customers actually pushed us into a program that they actually it's called the Forager Finds program. So it's a trial with Sprouts. So we got onto shelves across the state of Florida, across 31 stores. So a little bit about my wife and I, my co-founder. We have a 6 and 8 year old. So this is going on, while we have a 6 and 8 year old. We were in 31 stores across the state of Florida. We've driven over 9,000 miles. You heard that right, 9,000 miles. If you want it, go and get it. That's what we're all about. And we're not afraid of hard work. Across 31 stores doing samples with our pepper sauce, our red and yellow Scotch bonnet pepper sauce. Walking into Sprouts, it was really incredible just to walk into that retail store, looking at the bright lights, and then go into the section where the Forager Find section, which was like in the middle of the store, and seeing your brand there. Wow, very, very humbling moment for myself, and my wife, and it's great to do that. But what's great is we get to talk to consumers. We talk to all of our consumers. Some of the people who've purchased are U.S. Olympians, Emmy award winning producers, athletes, nutritionists, folks who are vegan, folks who have who are go after like gluten-free products, folks who have had pepper sauce in some capacity, but they're always looking for that level of like authenticity, and that's what we have. And that was a great opportunity. We did some sampling. We got to have conversations about consumers on how they use their products at home, and current customers actually came out to support us, as well as net new customers. But it's really cool to be in Sprouts Farmers Market. And we're only just getting started. We did it for 90 days. We were successful, and we're getting ready to launch across 488 stores across 24 states with Sprouts later this year.
So, the Specialty Food Association named Sense Maxing its 2026 Trend of the Year, focusing on bold, layered flavors. How do whips sauces fit into that growing improvement?
Yeah, so since maxing is huge, they're labeled as like texture and taste. So it's a really great acknowledgement from the Specialty Food Association, which will be at their event later this month, and I can talk about that later too. But definitely, like as Randy said, like our flavors and our products are gluten-free, vegan, all natural. So that's what we pride ourselves on. And people around the country are really wanting that clean label products. And people are going through, GLP-1 and everything. And we just, people want real foods, real ingredients. Our products are all natural too, so no like artificial flavors or anything like that. But Randy can talk a little bit more about sort of the GLP-1 and that trend that's happening right now.
Yeah, with regards to the GLP-1s, we hear about these names, Ozempic, Wegovy, folks are looking to eat less. Um, I think every bite matters now more so than ever. Consumers are reading those labels, and you know, they are looking for those clean label brands across the border. So we know that 67% of consumers, according to the Specialty Food Association's 26 Consumer Trend Report, they're looking for clean label cultural products with clean labels or so. And that's who we happen to be. So I tell folks all the time, we are not just a trending product or a trending company. We've been trending for the last 4 generations with our recipes. We just happened to start our business back in February of 2024, and it's cool to be on this journey. And a lot of the questions that we kind of get asked all the time is, "Hey, why a jar? Why not a traditional woozy bottle?" And for us at West Indies Pepper Sauce, it's really about being authentic, unapologetic about our flavors, and being true to who we are, and never steering away from that. So I tell a lot of folks, doesn't matter where you're from the Caribbean or West Indies. So we all make our pepper sauce, and you'll always find pepper sauce at anybody's home, typically in a mason jar, right? We all know the mason jar, right? It might be a used, strawberry, jam jar, or just a regular mason jar. And as we started this, we do not want to water down our culture. We want to preserve it. We are very unapologetic, and it's just great to be in, get those shout outs along the way, right? According to like the, sense max and trends. And right now, Scotch bonnet peppers, there's a shortage that's happening right now, right? So it's cool to be, on this journey as we're just going on this.
So, as you just mentioned about the Scotch bonnet peppers, they're the staple of the Caribbean cuisine. What makes your citrusy red and tangy yellow sauces unique compared to the other sauces on the market?
Yeah. So listen, first and foremost, big up to all of the brands out there. We all know Grace Kennedy, we all know Matuk's, Walker's Word, Bertie's, all great products out there. West Indies Pepper Sauce, we're the premium brand in the space that represents the Caribbean culture of products. So our products are vegan, gluten-free, all natural, no sugar, no carbs, no xanthan gum. We have a glass jar. Our red Scotch bonnet pepper sauce is very complex, right? So it hits you on the tail end. It's smooth, citrusy, pairs well with like chicken or fish or any type of roasted vegetables. The yellow Scotch bonnet pepper sauce has a bit of a tangy undertone, and it hits you up on the front end. And a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, we like to mix our sauces with anything too. So the yellow goes great with like mixing it with mayonnaise, making like a spicy aioli, putting that on like a smash burger. The red goes great mixing with honey and using that like as a glaze for any kind of wings or any kind of ribs or anything like that too. So we use it as a marinade, a condiment, and as a spice when we cook. So that's very versatile. I think that's what's different about our sauces too. We definitely use it a lot for cooking, And it's Scotch bonnet, so it's very flavorful, and it just brings out more flavor in the food without bringing like too much of the heat. But of course, if you want it hotter, you just add more of it. So
Yeah.
it's very versatile.
And one thing I want to add is, we're out there, we're talking to consumers, we're having conversations every day. And one of the biggest things that we see out there, we do farmers markets, we're in retail stores, like we're having a lot of conversations. When it comes to hot sauce, people have this preconception in their head. Oh, wow, it's going to be hot. Like it's going to burn your butt, right? Like that's what they think about. And from a perspective of for our brand, time after time is what we get feedback from our consumers is it's flavor and it's great and it has that right amount of heat just to complement. We don't look to overpower food, and that's who we are as a brand. And yeah.
So you recently completed the Madame CJ Walker Pace boot camp.
Mhm.
How did that experience help shape the future of whips?
Yeah. So, shout out to New Voices Foundation. They led a PACE boot camp. It's a Madam CJ Walker boot camp. Uh, they got, I think it was about 20 of just business entrepreneurs in this space, and was there for about 13 weeks online program. And ironically, I started this right as we that launching into Sprouts Farmers Market, driving that 9,000 miles. So we met a couple times a week, going over just different sessions, meeting a lot of folks, expanding our network. It was great. We met so many incredible leaders just across the board. So, and it's great to like expand our network. Shout out to Rachel. She has a great PR agency that we got to spend some time with. And there's so many other folks out there, but at the end of the 13-week boot camp, we all received awards, and I was selected by my peers to win the Madam CJ Walker Excellence Award. So, and for those of you who don't know Madam CJ Walker, she was the first female Black millionaire in 1917 with hair care products. Or so she had over 25,000 employees that she grew. And make no bones about it, she is absolutely was important to the civil rights movement. And there's also a Netflix show, I think it's called See Now, or sorry, Self-Made. And it was a really cool opportunity to be on there. And while I was in the boot camp, her great granddaughter was the keynote speaker as we launched this that boot camp. So all in all, it was a great journey. Again, we are all about expanding our network across our business, and as a direct representation of that, we got invited to Essence Festival, which is happening July 4th in New Orleans. I will be speaking on stage as a part of a panel interview, and we're also going to be having a booth there for whips.
So, as Caribbean cuisine continues to gain international recognition, what role do you think brands like Whips play in introducing authentic island flavors to new audiences?
That's a great question. I can start this one, but I wanted to share a silly story from when Randy and I first started dating back in 2008 or something like that. So, I'm from Arkansas, Vietnamese American. Parents didn't really, we didn't really grow up speaking Vietnamese. So that's why we went overseas to Vietnam for 4 years. But before we moved overseas, first to South Korea, then Vietnam, we lived in Arlington, Virginia. And Randy's family is they're great at cooking. And I was introduced to lots of great foods, Caribbean food, Guyanese food, chicken curry, dal and rice, all the great things, and I remember one time Randy cooking fried rice, like Guyanese style Chinese fried rice. And he had a pepper in it. And for me, I just love eating, so I don't really pay attention too much about like what I'm eating. And he cooks, they cook with whole peppers. Caribbeans cook with whole peppers sometimes. If you don't have the whole peppers, you buy the pepper sauce. But yeah, I just took a whole bite and it was was it wary wary pepper?
Yeah, that's right.
It was a wary wary pepper and it's very hot. It's up there on the level of Scotch bonnet or maybe hotter. Yeah, so I had to drink a couple glasses of milk. So that's just an example of, learning about the Caribbean culture and being new as we were first dating and everything. And, I think it's very unique, the Caribbean cuisine. And there's only pockets in the US that really, excuse me, know about it. So New York, definitely Florida, Orlando, South Florida, pockets in like Louisiana and Texas. So I think there's a lot of room for Caribbean cuisine to grow. And that's our mission at West Indies Pepper Sauce, is to help preserve the food culture from the West Indies. We have just 2 sauces right now, but that's just where we're starting. I think there's lots of room for growth, and we're excited to be part of that growth and helping to be part of the 42 million Caribbean diaspora.
So, as you've mentioned before, Whips is going to be showcasing at the Summer Fancy Food Show in New York and also in the Festival Culture in New Orleans. What can they expect to visit at your booth?
Yeah, so being a New Yorker from Queens, a lot of pride being back in the city, right? You got that Knicks energy coming up, winning the championship. I gotta throw that in the interview, right? This is who we are. And you can stop by our booth. We're going to be in the included CPG section. So that's an area of Summer Fancy Food Show at the Javits Center where it gets a lot of attention. A lot of retailers, investors, they're stopping by. They want to see who are these latest and greatest innovative brands, right? And this is going to be our second time being there. So shout out to the Summer Special Seafood Association on helping us to be a part of their Victoria and Joe Marie. Thank you so much. We're really grateful for that. We're going to have samples with our pepper sauce. People will be able to hear the brand story. And at Essence Festival, they're going to be able to do the same exact thing, right? But at Essence, it's going to be more of like a consumer show where people are able to go and actually buy our products there. The Summer Fancy Food Show, we're not going to be selling our products. It's about expanding our products into retail and food service distribution. So it's going to be a really cool vibe. Stop by. We'll have stickers. We'll have samples. You'll be able to meet the founders. And I think it's going to be a great show. It's going to be a lot of great energy.
So, entrepreneurship can come with many challenges. What has been one of your guys' biggest obstacles you guys have faced while growing Whips?
So as Randy said, this is our 3rd business we've had. So, and it's third time's a charm, right? So, everything's, I guess the biggest challenge is really, I'd say balancing everything that's happening, right? Being founders, and running our own business, you're wearing a lot of hats. So, I'm more focused on the marketing side and operations, and Randy's focused a lot on like the sales and customer engagement. So it's really balancing all those things as far as founders and having other commitments too, and also our family and our children. So we definitely want to make our family a priority. But I think it's also a great thing we've learned along the way is building our network. So I think all the people and all the associations we've worked with, being here at the Cap Village is amazing. So just expanding our network has been like the biggest thing for us.
Yeah, I'd like to add another one to that is, I think in any type of business that you have, you want to do so much, right? And the way how we roll at Whips is we have our heads down. We're not focused on anybody else or the competition. We're not trying to be something that we're not. I mean, it's very simple. We know where we come from. We come from very humble beginnings. Like I said, our cultures are on shelves, but our people are not. And for us, we got to pick and choose the avenues that we look to grow our business. And again, being bootstrapped, some might say that's a bad thing. Some might say that's a good thing. We look at it as an opportunity, right? We come from the corporate arena, with over 20 years of experience. And we get to be very authentic and having those conversations with consumers and grow a very organic following who people are actually bought into our mission. And it's great. It's humbling. It's very humbling. It's very humbling to hear all of these ways that people are using our pepper sauce into their lives, bringing it to their families, and sharing those special moments, right? Or getting gifts for their family members, or bringing it to a barbecue, or hey, getting this because their friend, likes pepper sauce, and they want to see like the latest and greatest things out there. So, but it's great. We're really focused on community and being very authentic and just telling our story, and I think that's the pros that we look at. We're growing at our own pace, and there is a lot of interest, also outside of the U.S. with our products.
So many people are discovering Caribbean food for the first time. What's your favorite Whips product to recommend to a newcomer and why?
Yeah. So I think we might have like mixed reviews here
Yeah.
because
Yeah, I love the yellow. I love that one on top of anything. I do use the red a lot in cooking. But if you're gonna use the everyday sauce, I say the yellow, but I do like the red also on like my steak or fish. So it's kind of mixed for
Yeah.
me, but
I'm team red,
Yeah.
and my wife is team yellow. But I kind of look at it. I kind of let folks know that it's a think of like a wine experience, right? If you're gonna have a glass of like a Pinot Noir or a Malbec, you're gonna probably pair that with a piece of steak with some asparagus. If you're gonna have a piece of salmon, you're gonna sear that, add a little bit of honey with our red Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, use it as a glaze, and you're probably gonna have a white wine with that or so, right? There's a time and place for it, and it complements different types of meals or so.
So, looking ahead, what exciting projects, products, or partnerships can Whips fans and supporters expect in the next coming year?
Yeah, so as we mentioned, we're going to be at a couple of shows in the next couple of weeks. So we're excited for those. And really at these shows, we're, like I said, building our network. We are coming out with a more robust packaging for our little sachets here. So we are looking into getting into food service, and we're starting with these packets, which are great for, your fast casual places. So be on the lookout for more packets. We are partnering with SUSTA, which is the Southern United States Trade Association. So, and the Entrepreneurship, National Entrepreneurship Center here, to kind of get into the exporting our products into different countries. So focusing on the Caribbean, as well as Canada, Mexico, the UK. We're not sure of the timeline, obviously, but be on the lookout for that. And we're excited to expand and grow, and then expanding our footprint here in the U.S.
Yeah, and we're about to have that launch later this year with Sprouts and Farmers Market, and so we have our name in the hat for Whole Foods, Wegmans, Publix. So definitely keep an eye, be a part of our social media to see us on our journey. And yeah, we're super excited. But these hot sauce packets, you know, this is an example of starting a brand and having conversations with your consumers directly, right? We got feedback from our customers right off the jump saying, "Hey, we love your pepper sauce." And my husband or my wife takes the jars to work all the time. You guys should come out with a hot sauce packet. And we heard that loud and proud. And we decided to, come up with that whole process of come up with the hot sauce packets. And as Shauna had mentioned, we're looking ready to come out with a product with our hot sauce packets that's going to be for like food service. But we are also looking to sell our hot sauce packets in that 200 case count to consumers as well. So be on the lookout for that.
So, last but not least, if there's one message you'd like people to take away about Whips and the importance of supporting Caribbean owned businesses, what would it be?
Wow, great question. You know, it's great. It's great to see all the others who are also in the industry. And the reality is this: there's not a lot of brands who look like us on shelves, right? So anytime I meet, another Caribbean brand, it's crazy great synergy, right? Um, I think it's important to represent, the Caribbean diaspora. Yes, we're on the food side. My message would be if you're out there and you meet people who are starting brands, support them, right? Share their stories, make those recommendations, make that request to your retailers. It's awesome being on this journey and meeting all of our people who are doing great things. So, the best way to support us is follow us on social media, buy a jar on Amazon, leave us a review, and always start off with a little bit of pepper sauce. We always tell people, how do you like your pepper sauce? Slight, medium, or heavy? And we try to be very authentic with our products. So thank you.
So thank you for coming to Cap Village for this interview today. We all look forward to seeing your journey as you grow and expand with your business.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.